Hey Stranger Things fam, welcome back to Explainverse, your home for all things Hawkins and beyond. Today we're diving into 5 mind-blowing theories about Stranger Things Season 5 that could actually turn out to be true. Some of these might just change the way you see the entire series. So grab your egos, sit tight, and let's jump straight into the Upside Down. Many fans on social media believe that D'Artagnan, better known as Dart, the strange creature from the Upside Down that Dustin adopted as a pet, might return in this 5th and final season. We know that Dart and Dustin shared a special bond in Season 2. In fact, if you recall, when the group was trying to escape through the tunnels, Dart appeared but didn't attack them. Instead, he recognized Dustin and let them pass after being given his favorite treat. Despite his supposed dark origins, Dart acknowledged his master, remembered Dustin, and based on this, there's a possibility we could see this character again. But here's the sad part. Many fans seem to forget something crucial. When 11 closed the Upside Down portal in Season 2, we saw that scene where the Demodogs collapsed and seemingly died. We also saw the Demogorgons just drop, falling into the void of those tunnels. And if that wasn't enough, we saw Dart, near his favorite treat, slowly losing his life. So, this theory couldn't possibly come true. Dart is dead. However, there's a very interesting theory that I think could actually happen in some way. Some fans of the series believe that those creatures didn't actually die, but were simply disconnected from the Upside Down and fell unconscious. If this isn't clear yet, let me explain, and you'll get it. Here's the deal. This next point is dividing the fandom. Some believe it's possible, others don't. What if the monsters from the Upside Down, the Demogorgons, the Demodogs, and even the Flayer, aren't actually evil? We know the 5th season will be an all-out war. Vecna will apparently unleash the full power of the Upside Down against 11, Mike, Will, Dustin, Lucas, Max, and all the residents of Hawkins. With all that against them, how will these protagonists survive Vecna's attack? Because let's face it, Demogorgons are bulletproof, so how will they manage? This is where the theory comes in. In Episode 7 of Season 4, we saw 11 send Henry Creel, aka Vecna, to the Upside Down after a brutal fight. In Episode 9 of the same season, Vecna reveals that when he arrived in that world, he initially thought it was hell, but soon began exploring it, suggesting he spent days wandering around. What's interesting is that based on what we saw, these creatures didn't attack Vecna. Why? We even see scenes where a Demogorgon was very close to him. For this reason, many believe these beings aren't naturally aggressive but are being controlled by Vecna, as we've seen in the series. This would be due to the mysterious particles that form the Flayer's hive mind. Yes, those particle-like entities weren't an individual being. Vecna shaped them based on his drawings, as we can see here. According to this theory, Vecna used this hive mind creation to manipulate the creatures of the Upside Down. That would explain why, in Season 2, when 11 closed the portal, many of them collapsed upon being disconnected from that mental control. But maybe they didn't die. Maybe they're still alive beneath Hawkins. And perhaps these same creatures could help our protagonists in the fight against Vecna, since they might no longer be under his control. That said, I have to be honest, there's one detail we can't overlook. Demogorgons have sharp teeth, claws, brute strength, they're predators. So, with those traits, could they really be good beings? I'm not sure, but I think even if they're not controlled by Vecna, their nature might still be violent. They might not attack on Vecna's orders, but perhaps due to their own instincts. So, I don't think these creatures will help anyone. What do you think? Are these beings truly evil, or are they just being manipulated? When I first heard this theory, I didn't buy it, but after analyzing it carefully, maybe, just maybe, it could happen. What if Dustin manages to use the Demodogs as a secret weapon in the final battle against Vecna? Let's remember what happened in Season 2. Dustin found and adopted a strange creature from the Upside Down, which he named D'Artagnan, or simply Dart. Though it seemed harmless at first, Dart grew into a dangerous Demodog. However, in later episodes of Season 2, something incredible happened. In the finale, there's a scene in the tunnels where Dart stands in the way of Dustin and his friends. At first he seems aggressive and even growls, but he doesn't attack. Dustin pulls out a chocolate bar, the creature's favorite snack, and gives it to him. Instead of harming them, Dart happily eats while they escape. That scene might have made something clear. Dustin managed to somewhat tame Dart. This leads many to wonder, could he do it again? If you're still watching, chances are you enjoyed the video. so why not show some love? Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and join the Explainverse family for more deep dives into the world of Stranger Things and beyond. Your support means everything, and helps us keep bringing you amazing content. Just imagine this in the final season. Dustin could devise a plan to manipulate the Demodogs using chocolate. Maybe they won't become permanent allies, but they could be used to distract, divert, or even attack Vecna at the most critical moment of the battle. If Dustin could control Dart with chocolate, maybe he could control the other Demodogs too. Of course, with chocolate, lots of chocolate. So what do you think? Does this theory convince you? Because honestly, it's starting to convince me more and more. But we'll see what happens. The theory is interesting. You can't deny that. Lately, a very intriguing theory about Stranger Things 5 has been circulating on social media, and it has to do with the title of the 4th episode of this 5th season, which, as you know, is called Sorcerer. Many immediately think it refers to Will, since he's always been connected to the Upside Down, and his story still seems to hold many secrets. But what if this character isn't the Sorcerer, and it's actually someone else? In the game Dungeons & Dragons, Will has always been a cleric, not a sorcerer. There's a key difference in Dungeons & Dragons. Sorcerers are born with their power, while clerics gain abilities through a higher or spiritual force, so changing classes mid-game is highly unusual. This is worth mentioning because the series draws heavily from Dungeons & Dragons lore. So, who is the Sorcerer? Here's where an unexpected theory comes in, and I can see why many believe it. If we don't learn more about this character I'm about to mention and the series ends without giving us any clues about what happened to them, it would feel like the show left a major loose end. What if the Sorcerer in episode 4 is none other than Kali, Eleven's sister, also known as 008? Although many didn't love her after season 2, we can't deny that her story was left completely open. Kali has the ability to create hallucinations in her enemies' minds, making them see things that don't exist, powers that curiously align with the concept of a sorcerer in Dungeons & Dragons, someone with innate mental and magical abilities. Now I have to be honest, I don't support this theory. To me, we'll never see Kali again in the series. What do you think about this theory? Does it convince you or not? And here's the question. Why, in the official Stranger Things 5 trailer, is Steve turning up the decibels? Why is he doing that? What's the plan? Who's behind it? This scene has sparked a ton of theories. As I mentioned, Steve is turning up the decibels on this radio, almost like he's adjusting an antenna. But why are they doing this? The most popular theory suggests the protagonist might be trying to wake up the residents of Hawkins, who fell under Vecna's control, using the same method that saved Max in Season 4, music. But let's be honest, that doesn't make much sense. Why would Vecna need to control the people of Hawkins again if, as we saw in Season 4, he already opened the portal? Plus, there's another tricky detail. For this to work, everyone in Hawkins would need to have the same favorite song, or the protagonists would need to know each person's favorite song and broadcast it on the radio. That's why there's another theory that I think sounds a bit more logical, and I'll explain it now. It's most likely that this Hawkins radio station is being used to open a communication channel between the real world and the Upside Down. The key would be to align the frequency and crank the decibels to the max to sync with a parallel station in the Upside Down. Remember, this dark world seems to be a copy of our own, so calibrating the antenna to the exact frequency between these two stations, one in the real world and one in the Upside Down, could open a channel for the protagonist to communicate directly. This would also explain why the Mind Flayer seems to be attacking the radio station's antenna, as it would want to disrupt the protagonist's communication channel. So yes, the increase in decibels we see in the trailer isn't about freeing anyone but something more strategic, opening a communication channel between the two worlds. This would allow them to talk freely through their communication devices, better coordinating their plan against Vecna. The theory is solid, but will it happen? What do you think? If you had a blast watching this, don't forget to drop a legendary like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a moment from the Upside Down. I'm Explainverse, and I'll catch you in the next one. And hey, don't just sneak off. Subscribe, you cheeky legend.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I breathe.